You're listening to Not So Live from Asteroid G. I'm Mike Finkelstein. With me, as always, is...
It's not always, because I understand you did some without me.
Yeah, no, you weren't here for like 4 whole podcasts
I
there.
know.
Yeah.
But it's still Josh Schaefer.
Okay. And...
Queen Bee.
So today on the episode, we're going to be talking once again about Star Wars, which, as Josh pointed out to me while we were getting ready to do this podcast, is ironic since I really don't like Star Wars, and this is the 3rd time we're talking about it here on the podcast. But we do have 2 new topics that are really worth mentioning. 3 if we want to count the theme park ride that most of us haven't been on, but 2 new topics that are worth mentioning at the start, which is The Mandalorian and the new Star Wars movie, The Rise of Skywalker, which interestingly came out basically within a month or so of each other, and kind of proved both how good and how bad Star Wars can be.
Yep.
Yes. But before we get to that, there's a question we always have to ask, and we have a new person at the table to ask this question of. So, once again, Josh, assuming that your opinion has not changed, lightsaber color.
Purple.
And...
Oh, on the spot.
No, I've said purple before, but I don't want to be the same as Josh.
You can be the same as Josh, it's okay.
We could be part of the
I like
purple
purple.
club.
I mean, if we're letting Josh have one so that he and Mace Windu are both allowed to have a purple lightsaber, then other people can have one as well.
I like purple.
That's all of the ethnicities and minorities in one group.
Samuel L. Jackson?
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, he's like the only black person in those movies. Oh, George Lucas.
No.
And the original prequels, like the prequel trilogy.
Oh, in the prequels.
Yeah,
yes.
no, Lando's the other token black person.
Right,
Yeah,
correct. Okay.
Yeah, so. And I think I'm still going with yellow, although there's a lot of new colors that were added in because of the Old Republic. And they let you basically do any color combination you want, but
Purple's one of them.
purple is one of them. And I think the Darksaber is cool looking, but I'm not a Mandalorian, so I can't wield that now. Not properly. Neither Mandalorian nor Sith.
Not without stealing it.
Yeah.
It's not pronounced scythe.
Sith.
Sith.
So now that we've gotten that out of the way, we can actually get to the important topics of the matter. And so both of you have seen the new movie as well as the TV show, The Mandalorian. So where are the opinions on these 2 products? How do you guys want to start this?
One was really good and one was really bad.
Are you saying that Rise of Skywalker was bad?
Yes.
Or- okay.
He's a huge fan of Rise of Skywalker and doesn't see what everyone's so hyped about with Mandalorian.
I actually don't see what everybody's so hyped about with Mandalorian. I like The Mandalorian. I just don't see why everybody was so hyped about it.
Because of
it's
Baby
good
Yoda.
for what it is.
Have you not seen him?
I have seen the Baby
Or her?
Yoda,
Is it a him or a her?
the child.
It hasn't been defined as a gender yet. He can choose his gender if and when he's ready.
Fair. But it's adorable regardless.
It is an adorable puppet.
It is an adorable puppet.
It's an adorable puppet.
I'm just happy that they actually are using practical effects in a Star Wars movie again.
Oh, right. Wow. Like, you could tell that the big things that they rode were CGI or CGI blend. But there was practical effects to it. But, like, a lot of stuff, like Baby Yoda and all the various, like, bits and bobs around the cities and so forth. I mean, let's face it, if George Lucas had made those movies, all those Mandalorians would have been CGI.
Oh,
Yes.
100%. He would have, like, why use people?
Right, exactly.
The people are getting in the way of me telling my story.
Yeah.
there's a story to all this mess?
And then he would have gone and slept on a bed of $4 billion because George Lucas.
Not jealous at all.
You know, he did go to the set for season 2.
Oh, The Mandalorian?
And held the baby Yoda.
Oh, yeah, because they're already filming it, aren't
Yeah.
they? Yeah.
I know they were already filming.
Well, everyone's so mad at J.J. Abrams. It's like, everyone's going to be good in comparison to that guy with the way he fucked up the movies. Cue George Lucas magically appearing.
Right.
I kind of feel bad for
Exactly.
J.J. Abrams. Like, I feel like he was given an impossible situation and...
He brought it on himself. Okay, because here's the thing. From what I've heard, they didn't want Colin Trevorrow. Is that his name?
I don't know how to say his name.
Yeah, whatever. It's that guy.
I can read it pretty well.
The guy who was supposed to direct the 3rd of the movies. And he went back to do, what, another Jurassic Park instead after this?
Yeah,
I
which
think.
were also bad movies.
Yeah, they were terrible, but they were terrible in their own way. And he didn't do the second one, which was the worst of the Jurassic World so far.
Did you do the third one?
He's
Is
going
it
to be
the third
doing
one?
the 3rd one.
Okay.
Yeah, he directed there's a short for it, that battle at Red Rock or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
He directed that, I guess, as his way to get his feet wet, and then they're doing a 3rd Jurassic World movie. And then I guess after that, because it's 3 and 3, they have to go and do Jurassic Universe next, or
Probably.
Jurassic Galaxy.
If it's dinosaurs in space, I am so watching.
I would
it.
I was
actually
about to say the same thing.
Yeah, but so he wrote a script for the third movie,
Which was leaked online.
and it was supposedly.
I've read through it, and it was way better than.
Well, it's really. Then this is the thing that I was trying to comment was that Disney, he made some other movie, The Book of Henry, that everyone hated. And between that and the fact that somehow his script was tonally not where Kathleen Kennedy, she's the one who does the Star Wars movies right now.
Yep.
She decided, I guess tonally it wasn't what she was looking for, and the stuff that she's been promoting has not been great anyway. Because Solo. Ugh. So she decided, like, between all of that, he left the project, and then J.J. Abrams was brought in. But the exact same deadline that Colin Trevorrow was given to J.J. Abrams, same date and time and all that, and he had to finish the movie after and write a script and finish the movie in a smaller amount of time than Trevorrow was given, which meant that he had to kind of rush through it and finish stuff. So on that side of things, sure, okay, that was bad. It's like when Peter Jackson having to step in to take over for
The Hobbit.
The Hobbit, take over from Del Toro, not Benicio, Guillermo del Toro. There's two Del Toros.
I would watch a Benicio del Toro Hobbit though.
It's just him mumbling through it.
Bilbo.
What do you say? I don't know. Just I think we just go get the ring or something.
Introducing Benicio del Toro as Gollum.
I know. Oh my god, that would be amazing. But Peter Jackson had to step in and take over, and then Guillermo was given 2-3 years to make The Hobbit, and then he left 2.5 years in because the studio wasn't happy with his direction, which what did they expect? He was making a Guillermo del Toro movie. And then so he had to try and make the whole Hobbit in 6 months. And it kind of felt like J.J. Abrams from that angle got that. And in both cases, you got the movie you got. But people still hold the Hobbit movies against Peter Jackson because Peter Jackson didn't sit there and go, you know what? I need another year. Let's maybe take another year on this. And J.J. Abrams could have put his foot down and been like, I need another year to get this right. And if you're making me do it in this deadline, you're going to get a bad movie.
Yeah. Well, it just really showed the greed of Disney more than anything else.
Okay. Tell me why you guys think it was a bad movie, because I actually kind of liked it.
Okay. There were parts of it I enjoyed.
Yeah.
I will let you jump in, but there were parts of it I enjoyed. I thought there was a bunch of good character interaction. I mean, a lot of it was powered by the actors themselves, because Poe and Finn were good, and I loved their character interactions. I thought that the interesting interplay between the two Jedi, Kylo and Rey, was there.
Ben was the Jedi, Kylo was the Sith.
I don't fucking care. I thought that how their dipode or whatever it was called in the movies, which is a weird idea, but how it was built up and developed over the course of 2 movies, because it started in The Last Jedi. I liked that, and there were some cool things there, and I kind of liked how Kylo grew as a character at the end. But everything related to Palpatine, which was the whole plot of the movie. Let's go find this MacGuffin that's going to take us to this other MacGuffin that's going to take us over to this hidden planet in this weird briar patch that doesn't make sense with space physics. And then suddenly he's got a bunch of Star Destroyers that they were just suddenly somehow able to build in 2 years, despite how long it takes, and the fact that you really can't put these death lasers on things of this size. And why is Palpatine even back? Everything actually involved with the plot of the movie makes no fucking sense and bothers me so bad I couldn't shut my brain off. Josh.
Okay, fair enough.
So I also agree with most of what Mike said, but I would also like to say Adam Driver probably drove that movie because he's the driver. Get it? Mike? Mm-hmm. He's the driver. He drives.
I got what you said. Yeah.
He drives.
I got it.
Wow.
Okay. But my biggest problem with it was, for lack of better words, there's no balls in the movie.
There wasn't.
The entire, and this is the biggest issue I have with the entire sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
I don't know what to call it. The newest trilogy is that, in even with the prequels, which I loathe as well, but the prequels and the original trilogy both had a hero's journey. You had the call to action and yada, yada, yada. And this was here's overpowered Rey, who doesn't really have anything, and she doesn't come from anything, which was kind of cool, I thought. It was a cool idea, but there wasn't a reluctant hero journey. There wasn't really any story development, and all the story that they were trying to develop in Last Jedi, they
thrown out.
They threw it out, and then they not only just threw it out, but they pissed on it because they put just like little jabs at like, oh, we don't do that here, or and things like that, and then they had spoiler alert, I guess, but like they didn't kill off anybody important except for Ben, I guess, but like you thought Chewbacca died, and that scene I was like, oh no, Chewbacca died, that's sad. But he somehow is alive because they blew up the wrong ship, even though there was one ship.
There's only one transport originally, yeah.
Yeah, it's that whole scene, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's a bunch of that weird 1950s cliffhanger thing of the hero is in danger and about to die. Tune in next week to figure out how it was solved. And then you realize that what you saw the previous time had been completely retconned, and despite the fact that he was hanging by his bare hands from the cliffside actually has a lower platform right below it, and also he had a rope. Yeah. Like, it's like you've changed the rules of the game midway and be like, everyone's just going to accept this, right?
And then C-3PO, who is arguably the most pointless character ever, did something that was actually awesome.
Heroic, yeah. And they wiped it away.
And they immediately were like, oh, R2 has a backup. So I was like, okay, so his sacrifice didn't really mean anything in the end.
Meant nothing, yeah.
And then they went, and I felt like they threw in, I forget her name, Ms. Russell's character.
Oh, Carrie Russell?
Carrie Russell's character.
The lady you hate and everything.
Who was also pointless in this entire
gosh, she was so pointless.
I felt like the only thing that she served to do was prove that Poe wasn't gay.
Which the actor who plays Poe
would have been perfectly fine with it.
Well, and the actor who played Poe played his character like he was pansexual anyway.
Yeah.
Like, didn't matter. He gave her this look near the end of the movie. He's like, hey. And she's like, no. And he goes, okay. And I totally expect him to then turn and look at like a droid and go, hey.
Like, or Finn, or anybody
anyone.
there.
He was kind of giving the like exhaust ports on one of the ships a look. Like, you could tell he'd fuck it.
It looks just like a womp rat from here. But like my biggest issue, and I'm not trying to like get on the political soapbox or anything,
saying is keep Baby Yoda away from him.
Oh, he's 50. It's legal.
Anyway, you were saying your soapbox.
But Kelly Tran's character, like I wasn't a huge Rose.
Yeah, Rose. Yeah, Rose.
Rose. I can't remember her last name, but I wasn't a huge
Troy
Tico.
or Tico.
I wasn't a huge fan of her in The Last Jedi. But I felt
she was okay.
She was okay. Like there wasn't anything wrong with her character, but the fact that Disney went
out of their way to
reduce her screen time, even though the J.J. Abrams cut had like a substantially larger role for her, and she didn't know about it, and J.J. Abrams didn't know about it until the premiere.
Which, shouldn't he have final say on how his movie is edited?
He should have had final edit.
Yeah. And you can't say that it wasn't just Disney wanting to do it here, because they really, for whatever reason, wanted to reduce her role in the entire universe. She had like half hour or so of screen time in the second movie of this trilogy, and they put out this visual dictionary that went with the third movie, and it's supposed to be all of Star Wars, and she gets a half-page spread in this dictionary for her character, who has a meaningful plotline in at least one of the movies. The dude from like Lost and The Hobbit, who played one of the Hobbits, whatever his name is, who's basically Monaghan or something. He's basically a background character in all three movies of the trilogy and has like a total of 5 lines. He gets 2 pages in the visual dictionary.
Dang, really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. The AV Club pointed this, or IO9, one of the 2 sites from Gawker Media or whatever. Yeah, they pointed this out, and you're sitting there going, holy crap, Disney, what is your fucking problem with Rose? She's not that bad a character.
Well, they took her out of all the promotional stuff, too.
Yeah, they did.
Because
MRA guys ruined their field day in the second one. Like, well, we don't want them to complain this time around. They still found shit to complain about because they're going to complain because they're asshole MRA guys on the internet. They're just going to complain.
Yeah, well, and all they did was they pretty much were like, okay, you neckbeard trolls, you guys win.
Yep, that's what they did.
And like there was no exactly. And also everything with Palpatine was just dumb.
Okay, so your opinion.
I'll give you my take on this whole thing.
Since we now ranted for 5 minutes.
Well, because now I'm starting to rethink my enjoyment of the entire movie. But okay. I kind of have, suspension of disbelief, and I kind of build up stories in the back of my head of this is why Finn and Rose aren't together anymore kind of thing, because he's decided he is gay and he wants to go with Poe.
And Poe just doesn't realize it yet.
And Poe just doesn't realize it yet.
There's going to be a fourth movie where it's just him, like, unrequited love and him chasing Poe across.
That movie already exists on the internet.
And I am perfectly fine with that. So that was kind of why I understood why he was like going, no, I'm okay with you, Rose. It's okay. I was going to run to you and hug you because we all survived. And then I went,
but I don't want to send you the wrong signals.
Exactly.
No. Because you're clearly into me, but I'm way gay for Poe right now.
Exactly.
Way gay for Poe.
And I think John Boyega would appreciate that.
Oh, he would totally. He said he was willing to film that. Yeah,
he was willing to film that. And the other thing I really didn't like about the movie, because I thought you didn't need to even go there because there really hasn't been this sexual pull between either one of them, Rey and Kylo, and the kiss in the end. It
was a little weird.
It was so not necessary.
No, like a brotherly hug would have been just fine.
A hug would have been fantastic.
Perfect.
And perfect. Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Or she could he could go in for the kiss because he's into her, and then she could bite his neck and feed off all of his Sith powers and become the most powerful person in the world.
That would have been awesome too.
That would have been a great ending.
Yeah, that would have been a great ending.
And then Star Wars Episode 10, Rey the Night Vampire.
We could have gone with that.
I like that.
I do. Okay. But those are the two issues I had. But other than that, I kind of enjoyed the movie. I didn't understand some of the characters, but now that I've heard your take, I'm like going, okay, maybe it's not as great as I didn't think it was great. It was okay.
Fun.
As far as in comparison to the prequels, because there are people online that are ranting that this movie is the worst Star Wars ever made, and I'm like, did you watch Phantom Menace? Because the Phantom Menace is ass.
The Phantom Dentist is
the Phantom Dentist. That sounds like a way more interesting movie than the one we got. But no, Phantom Menace is like the worst of the whole run.
It has the worst line in any movie. Are you an angel? Like, oof.
I would have said Attack of the Clones.
Jake Lloyd was beat up in high school.
Oh God. I would have. Yeah, no, he earned it. I would have said that Attack of the Clones is the worst of the series, if not for Phantom Menace. But Phantom Menace is so bad. Mm-hmm. And Rise of Skywalker, while it has its flaws, is at least a well-produced movie with enjoyable character moments, good acting, and decent action.
Yes.
That puts it way above anything George Lucas did in any of the prequel trilogy. Any of them. Even Revenge of the Sith, which is the best of those three. So it may not be the strongest of this trilogy. I think I personally prefer Last Jedi to the other ones because
I do too.
Episode 7, whatever it was called, Stalker Sith Return or something. I can't remember what the name of the first. Force Awakens.
Force Awakens.
Stalker Return.
The Force Awakens.
It's Blackula 3.
Ooh, I would watch that. Rey the Night Vampire versus Blackula. Go.
Wait, there was one more thing I hated.
Yes.
I would have preferred that Rey was not related to Palpatine in any way.
Yes, no.
I think that you're right in that, Josh, that it should have been completely that she's
more
had
interesting.
no lineage.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's much more interesting if she just spontaneously is a good Jedi on
she's
her
a
own.
good Jedi who doesn't know her lineage and chooses to be a Skywalker. That is a much better story.
Chooses to be a hero of the Republic when she can basically choose any path she wants.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to rebel against her past, and she doesn't have to be tied up in this whole, like, basically two-family squabble that's been going on for centuries now. Like, you don't need her to be either a Palpatine or a Skywalker. She just needs to be Rey.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, well, and also, like, I'm trying to think of how to say this.
Just say
nicely.
Don't say it nicely.
Don't say it nicely.
Don't say it
No,
nicely.
don't say it nicely.
Just spit it out there,
I don't want
Josh.
to call her a Mary Sue.
She's a bit of a Mary Sue.
But it's just, she had no struggles in that entire movie. Like, her struggle was Chewbacca died. But I can't, like, I'm trying to think of a scene where her and Chewbacca had any meaningful interactions. I can't think of one.
Well, I think that's part of, like, it may have been the reason why she was... The reason why she was made into a Palpatine was to try and answer the thing of, she has no struggle. Why does she not have struggle? Why can she just use her power? And if you say, well, it's because she's inherited the power from Palpatine and just didn't realize it, then it hand waves that away and tries to answer the fact that she's a Mary Sue. But it doesn't allow her to earn her power. And she never really earns her power. Like
she had a 5-minute training segment at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, because if you look at Luke goes from, like, really whiny farm boy who kind of gets okay at his force powers in the first of his movies, but he keeps getting shot by the little training droids, which is hysterical.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. To finally being strong enough to take on the Emperor in the third movie. And Josh...
And he was failing the entire time until Anakin stepped in.
Yeah. I mean, he totally lost his best bro, like the Fett down the Sarlacc, and you could tell that cut him up deeply for the rest of the movie. But no, he had a slow growth there. And Anakin, much as I hate the character, had kind of a slow growth. But his was growth towards the dark side and going from cute little child that everyone hates to asshole.
Teenager that everyone hates.
Teenager that everyone hates to asshole that everyone hates. Like, everyone still hated him, but that's why he went to the dark side.
To asshole everyone hates until he's voiced by
James Earl Jones.
and then everybody loves him.
Well, except for his first line. But yeah, he has a quote unquote growth. He has a path that he takes of a sort. Rey starts and ends basically in the same position she was in. Aside from
no growth.
Aside from gaining a lightsaber, she has no actual character growth. And I like her, and I think she's very well acted by Daisy Ridley. Yeah. And I think Ridley did what she could with the character she was given. But she starts and she basically gets to insert it into the movie as this random person who suddenly becomes connected to everyone, suddenly gets all these powers, and suddenly solves everything, every problem in the movie. By that definition, she is 100% a Mary Sue.
Yeah. What I really think would have been a better thing from the get-go is if Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley's characters were kind of flip-flopped, where Ben was the solo focus.
Well, I thought that was. I thought that was kind of what was going to happen in the movie.
That's what I thought too.
Like, he becomes good, and she becomes bad, and she becomes like Emperor Palpatine 2, and that at least would have given her some character
kind of
movement.
Arc. Yeah,
something. Like, the second movie kind of sets up that there's a darkness in her that's clawing at her, and then, of course, that's mostly cast aside because the darkness is apparently Palpatine. But if she just gives in and becomes a Palpatine at that point.
Well, it would have also made sense from the very beginning, since there's the prophecy states that Anakin would be the one to lead it to
bring balance to the Force.
Balance to the Force.
And
the balance would be that he had Leia. Leia got together with Solo. Solo and Leia had Ben. Ben went dark and then turns light.
Yeah.
That's the arc that changes everything.
Yeah.
Like, that's the entire thing. I was like, man, that would have
been so much better.
That'd be so much better. Because like, Rey at the end of the day was just kind of even if she was a Palpatine,
she was just kind of there.
Yeah,
I like her, but
she was like Indiana Jones. The movie would have been fine without him.
Exactly. Have you? Yeah, that's the thing. First Indiana Jones movie. I'm sure you've heard that theory. Raiders of the Lost Ark. The Germans get the Ark and open it up and kill themselves. Indiana Jones doesn't have to be involved in that at all. In fact, him being there only drags it out longer.
You're absolutely right.
100%. They were going to kill themselves. Whether, in fact, if he hadn't been involved, they might have done that in the middle of Germany. They might have taken out the Führer accidentally. That, like, him actually makes it worse.
It's all your fault.
It's all Indy's fault. Yeah.
I mean, but it was such a good movie.
It's a good movie. It is fantastic. But so that's why we hate or have issues with, I guess is a better way to put it.
I don't hate it.
Have issues with it. Even I gave it a halfway glowing review because I thought, like, the parts that were good were really good.
Yeah,
there's just issues.
And the thing I hate, like, this is actually I hate about the newer movies too, is there's so much side content that's not in the movie where it's like, I don't really understand that scene. What happened in the background? Oh, I have to read these 2 novels to figure that out.
Can't do any of that.
Yeah, like Lando and what's her name? The chick at the end, like
Ray.
No, not Ray.
Rose.
No, the chick that was on the weird camel horse thing.
Oh, that chick. Yeah, whose name I can't remember and I don't care about.
But
the black chick?
The black chick who was introduced as one of the fallen stormtroopers who like, they have horses or something.
The one that got together with Finn and said, no, I'm going to go with this girl.
Quote unquote got together. They don't actually have any chemistry whatsoever.
Well, no, I meant got together with, that's why he blew off Rose. She's a phenomenal actress. No, I got it.
Because that was it Young?
I don't know.
I don't remember her name. I'm spacing. Cold medicine.
That's fine.
But, like, I guess in other media outlets, like books or something, it's confirmed that that's Lando's kid somehow.
Huh.
Oh, yeah. No, I heard that too.
Or when you walk in The Last Jedi, when I'm spacing on everyone's freaking name.
Not Lando's kid. Lando's, I guess, foster child is basically what it was. Because he saved her and then she got kidnapped.
It's because they all have dumb names. You can't remember any of them because they're all stupid names.
But
which one is Luke's friend who also became a pilot for the Resistance?
He was in there for 2 seconds.
Did he die in the last one?
No,
he's still alive?
Yeah.
Wedge is the true hero of the trilogy.
He really is.
Yeah, he survives 6 movies, despite the fact that X-Wing pilots have the life expectancy of an amoeba.
Right.
Okay? I'm going to get in this ship, and oh my god, it's already exploded. How did this happen?
And he doesn't have the Force.
Loose exhaust port.
Luke, stop firing torpedoes at people's exhaust ports.
But the only reason he was in there was because the internet went like ape shit and demanded that he go in or be put in the movie.
Internet's
And he should have.
He should have. I don't disagree. He was my favorite character in the
grandfather of Ewan McGregor anyway, so he saw his uncle.
In the Star Wars series, no less.
Sorry.
He somehow travels back in time and grandfathers Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Exactly.
That's some interesting.
No, uncle. He's actually his uncle, I think. But Ewan McGregor saw the original Star Wars, and his uncle was in it and said, I want to be in Star Wars, and that's why he petitioned to become Obi-Wan when the opportunity came.
He didn't do a bad job.
No.
I like him as Obi-Wan. I think he's pretty good.
Should have gone with the Young Wedge Adventures. I'm just saying.
The Adventures of Young Wedge and C-3PO.
Exactly.
He's in everything.
Because he's in everything. Didn't they somehow find a way to cram into both those awful Ewok movies? I'm sure
Yes.
they
I think
did.
he did.
Yes,
yeah.
they did.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Was that the one with Wilford Brimley?
Yes. Talking about his diabetes while the Sith are attacking the Ewoks or something.
Diabetes and insurance.
Gotta get me some of them Quaker oats.
and catheters. I'm sure there's a catheter commercial out there.
What I think is funny is we're ripping on Wilford Brimley, and we're still technically on topic for Star Wars. Like,
I love Wilford Brimley, though. He was awesome in The Thing.
oh yeah, he was fantastic in the thing because he was a bad guy and he complained about his diabetes.
Insurance and catheters.
Yes. While he eats his Quaker oats. So now we've done that riff enough. So that's the movie we have issues with. But of the movie that's media that's just come out, we have The Mandalorian, which I think is phenomenal.
It is phenomenal.
It's good.
I'm glad to see an Eastwood.
Still gonna own it. It's good. I like Pedro Pascal. Big fan.
You do get to see his face at one point.
At least once. But he's such a pretty face, and it's so sad that he has to wear a helmet for it. But apparently, that is the way.
That is the way. Just
That wasn't
go
him
watch
anyway.
Narcos if you want to see more of his pretty face.
It's true. I could do that.
It was not a very good show. You don't need to watch that.
No.
Which one?
Narcos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Slow. But no, I like that show a lot. Well, I think what I like best about it is it doesn't feel like Star Wars. Not the George Lucas Star Wars.
That is true.
Yeah.
It does not feel like Star Wars.
It has a bunch of the same aliens, even features Tatooine at one point, but it feels about as far removed as you can get from Star Wars while still technically being in the same universe.
Is it wrong of me that the best part, in my opinion, is the rebel who's punching Yoda and Baby Yoda in the face?
Was that Jason Sudeikis?
Yeah,
Yes.
that was a
hilarious.
weird scene. It felt so out of place. I laughed really hard, but I will admit
You
that's
didn't see it coming, though. Like,
No,
it was just
no. It's
punch.
it's the most throwaway scene in
is.
that episode, though. Like,
and the shooting. They're trying to shoot at the can.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
also hilarious.
hysterical. Just owning the
Hilarious.
fact that they can't hit for shit.
It's like, and they keep hitting the gun. Like, it's something wrong with the gun.
Shika, shika, shika.
And the IG unit, too.
Oh, IGN was great. It's a.
Taiki, I can never say his name.
I think what's Taita Waikiki or something. Waititi.
Takiti.
Waikiki.
I'm so white. I'm sorry.
None of us are from
We can't pronounce
New
names.
Zealand. None of us can pronounce his native name. I'm so sorry.
I can barely say your name, so.
Mike.
Milk.
So, but no, I think what I like best about it, aside from the fact that it doesn't feel like Star Wars, is that it has a very tightly plotted storyline for its first season. And that's important because you watch the most recent trilogy and there's no tight plotting to that whatsoever because it's clearly two different directors battling each other for the soul of the trilogy. Hell, you go back to the prequel trilogy, and you can tell that George Lucas was just making shit up as he went along, because that's what he always did. And he was like, at the end of this, Anakin's going to go bad.
Why does it sound like Trump? You need to have more whining.
Anyway, at the end of this, Anakin's going to go bad. And it's the thing of he knew that because he wrote that in the original movies that he made. And then he's like, well, I'm going to have to try and get the character here. And while we're at it, Padme clearly has to be a queen because fucking Leia was a princess. And that makes no sense if you think about, like, there's so many problems with his movies. And there's so many problems with the new trilogy as far as their story. What?
It's Taika Waititi.
I think it's Titty.
Yeah. And his actual last name is Cohen. Why would he go to such a...
Because one name sounds
Hard
way more badass
name.
than the other one.
Oh my god. So, but no, and I think it's what I like about The Mandalorian. And I've actually watched a few other Star Wars shows at this point. I'm trying to work my way through Clone Wars right now because they have a new season of that coming out. And
Clone Wars isn't bad. It makes
not
Attack
bad.
of the Clones way more watchable.
Yeah, but it's also still not very tightly plotted. It's just random shit that happens
Rebels
for a while.
better.
Rebels is way better.
What I've seen of Rebels is good, but I have to watch my way through Clone Wars first.
And I would love to see an actual movie of the Rebels.
Oh, I would too.
That would
for
be
sure.
great.
They're just doing a spin-off instead. A spin-off sequel that's both basically a sequel to both Clone Wars and Rebels, because Ahsoka, whatever,
Ahsoka.
from her series is coming over
pronounce her name.
and joining up with the Mandalorian chick from
Gina.
whatever her name is, Sabine. Yeah. The two
okay.
And I guess the two of them
princess.
The two of them get to travel around the galaxy together. I hope they go on like private eye adventures and like
That'd be awesome.
That'd be cool.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Buddy cop movie?
Yeah, it'd be great.
I'll watch that. I watch it anyway.
But like they are much more episodic, but Mandalorian has a very focused plot line it's trying to tell. And as much as it is episodic in its little adventures, you can tell it's always moving forward towards a very specific goal, and it has that goal in mind.
It's a spaghetti western.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Star Wars, though, doesn't ever really act goal-oriented. And the few times it does it so poorly.
Well, finally, Star Wars is a space western rather than a space samurai story, which is what it has been for the last 9 movies.
Well, this is like the first time that it's something new, too. Because I can't remember anything that's not force focused.
Oh, yeah. Jedi focused and all about the damn Anakins and all
but
that.
There's so much, like, the universe is cool, but they only focus on the freaking Skywalkers.
Yeah, and the Jedi are only like 1% of 1% of the population, but all our stories are about Jedi. Yeah. Even Rebels is all about the Jedi.
Yeah, I mean, there's force in the Mandalorian, but
yeah,
I mean,
it's a
different.
minor force.
It is. It's very because he's
because he's tiny.
He's still tiny.
Well done.
See, those are good jokes.
There you go. We're waiting for you to tell one.
That would be a good joke.
So, thoughts?
The Mandalorian is awesome.
Do you have anything further to add to that?
It's cool that John Wayne's grandson or son is the Mandalorian in the stunt shots.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
That's
Cool.
neat.
I can't remember.
Who's your favorite Mandalorian character?
Well, they're all named Mandalorian, so none of them have names.
I mean,
Well, Mando. That's the part I hate about the Mandalorian is that his name is Mando.
Oh,
Really?
The Adventures of Mando and Lando. Why do we not have this yet?
I'm sure that's where it's going. You know Jon Favreau is the one who's directing.
They
this
already
shit.
have Donald Glover ready to act the role. They can bring him in, Mando and Lando, okay?
Mando. I would watch that.
God, it's so annoying. It's like, really? They couldn't give him a better name?
Like, I understand, though. Like, saying Mandalorian is a lot. Like, Mando is way easier to say.
Well, why not Lori? Or Rian? Or...
Sup, man?
Just M.
Yeah, M. That would be even better.
Or badass. What badass.
One kid clearly from the 90s. Hey, M-Dog.
There you go. Any of that would be better than Mando. Mando sounds like some kind of sex move that you're trying to avoid on a first date.
And then you need some gel afterwards.
Exactly.
I don't know why
That's bad.
When I think of Randall from Clerks, for some reason, I don't know why. But
So what you're saying is, after me, no other man would do.
yeah.
I don't know.
Sexy
I
Randall
think the
Farrell.
helmet thing would be a little weird after a while.
Just the helmet, though, because he can't take that off. He can take everything else off. He just can't take off the helmet. Oof.
Yeah.
He got there, though.
I mean, he has a kid now.
It's true.
And I do like Gina Carano, or whatever her name is.
Cara Dune.
No.
Is it Cara Dune?
No.
The TV show. And that's her character's name.
Yeah, but Gina Carano, I think. She was an MMA actor or fighter before she went into movies, and
Yeah, she's awesome. She was in the Deadpool movie, right?
she's in Deadpool. She was picked up by Steven Soderbergh for Haywire,
Okay.
which she's phenomenal in Haywire when it's just the fighting. She has limited range in there because that was like her first movie, but he gets to let her just rock the action sequences for long periods of time, and she can handle those. It was amazing.
Yeah. Well, and also Mandalorian's really proved that Jon Favreau knows what the fuck he's doing.
When he's given the right material to work with. Yeah. When he doesn't try to just like improv his way through an Iron Man movie. like the second Iron Man movie.
Oh, he did do the second
Don't
one.
think you're out of this, John. You got a long way to go, dude.
I mean, we can't really blame him for all of it. God, the guy who did the third one, whose name I'm now spacing on, Shane Black.
Oh, yeah,
Shane
yeah.
Black did great on the third one, and then immediately went and made The Predator, which I think is complete garbage.
I haven't seen it yet.
No one can
It
be
looked
blameless
bad.
when they're working in franchise films. They can all fuck it up, like without even realizing they're doing it.
Yeah, here's a tip: before you do a franchise film, watch the originals first and understand the material that you're about to work with.
That's true. That's a very useful point. So what Jon Favreau needed to do is go back and watch the first Iron Man before he directed the second one, even though he directed the first one, because he clearly did not
forgot.
Exactly. But no, he has a good idea of where that show should go, but he's not the only person working on that, and I think Jon Favreau works well on a team.
Yeah, well, I think part of it too is I think Disney's really afraid of taking chances on any of their franchise films.
Yeah.
And
oh my God, like Mary Poppins Returns, which is basically Mary Poppins, but again.
Yeah. But just,
nothing new.
Yeah. They need to take some chances because we're just getting the same stuff over and over again.
Yep.
It was completely not needed.
Mary Poppins Returns?
I
like The Mandalorian.
I like Mary Poppins Returns. It was completely unneeded. It was unnecessary.
The best parts of it were the stuff they basically stole from the first movie.
Yeah,
including Dick Van
Dyke.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I love Dick Van Dyke, though. I want him to be my dad.
And where did a Puerto Rican come to get to England? I'm still confused on that.
Well, how did he get a job?
No.
How did he get a good paying job, though? Because they're never going to give a Puerto Rican a good paying job in Victorian England.
I don't know if
not at all.
He was a chimney sweep, right? Like,
Yes.
Is that a good paying job?
It was
better than most jobs that would be given.
It was regular work in Victorian England of the Industrial Revolution. Like, try and get a regular paying job.
I wouldn't have an issue because I'm white.
That's true. You're white and middle class, so
yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, so be Puerto Rican first.
Oh, that's
right.
Any further thoughts
on Star Wars?
Yes.
No.
Did we kill the conversation? Is it over with now?
I think so.
Okay.
The Mandalorian's pretty cool.
Did you have any further thoughts? Because you only thought it was okay.
Well, I still only think it's okay. Maybe season 2 will be better.
Okay.
I mean, I'd still watch it. I liked it. I just like to watch things.
Baby Yoda is the spirit animal of all of America now.
Yeah, he is. Like, I was trying to resist Baby Yoda, but I got to admit, he's fucking adorable.
He is adorable. I'll give you that.
I don't feel the need to buy any toys of him, but he's really adorable.
You don't want to go to Build-A-Bear and say, I'm here for the child?
I don't want to go to Build-A-Bear.
I want to do that now. I'm here for the child.
You need to be wearing the helmet when you go in.
They probably have seen that enough already. They're
sure.
tired of that joke. So
it's great.
I mean, if I worked retail, or when I worked retail, it was always, didn't scan, must be free. They can fucking deal with it.
Yeah, I've gotten that before. I've working retail plenty of times. Well, it's free, right? What fucking universe do you think that's free? And also, stop making that fucking joke.
I just started telling people, it's like, oh my God, you're right. And then they get really excited. Like, really? No.
You should dead-eye them and scan it twice.
Wait.
Double ring, must have to pay for it both times by that logic, right?
What? You can't use logic and reason on me. I'm the customer.
You can't use logic and reason at Walmart.
Anyway, this has been Not So Live from Asteroid G. I'm Mike Finkelstein.
Gina Carraro.
And Queen Bee.
And we will see you next time.